Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox. I got my mic today, can you tell? Do I sound different? No? Yeah, that's because the shit's not charged. I don't know why I should be surprised. Nothing is going right today. Nothing's been going right for the last couple of days. So with no more further ado, this is just a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, first story up. I'm sure you guys already know we have to discuss the election. As much as I don't feel like talking about it, we're going to talk about it. We got to talk about it because it's here, you guys. It's the reality. Unless you were living, even if you was under a rock, you would already know that YSAP was elected as y'all stupid ass number 47 president. He will be sworn in January at the inauguration. Thank God I did not change my plans for my end of the year trip that me and Mr. are turning into an annual thing. We were going to cancel that trip and go to the inauguration because I was feeling like I wanted to be a part of history, and I did miss when Obama was inaugurated. So I was planning on canceling our trip to South Carolina and instead going to DC for the inauguration. I'm so glad I didn't do that. I'm so glad I didn't make reservations. I'm so glad I didn't buy airplane tickets. Something had just told me to just maybe not do it. Not necessarily because I didn't think that Kamala was going to lose, but more so I wasn't sure if I wanted to deal with the crowds. You know, I was expecting it to be, because it was history being made, I was expecting a lot of people to be there. And so were the hotels. The hotel prices were sky high. And that was also one of the reasons why I was holding off, because I just was not quite sure. Well, fast forward to Election Day on November 5th, Tuesday. It was confirmation that I didn't need to do that, because the person that I wanted to see get sworn in at the inauguration will not be there. And that is because Kamala Harris did not win the presidential seat. She was the Democratic representative. She was the one that we had endorsed. And yeah, disappointingly enough, she lost that race. Not only did she lose, but she almost lost by a landslide, which is, I don't really, what I will say is I feel really mad at myself. I feel really upset with myself because as a Capricorn, you know, I always reserve a healthy amount of pessimism in my views, because that way I'm always protected. I'm never disappointed. I'm always expecting the other shoe to drop. I've told you guys that many times. That is a part of me. And it's maybe it is a coping or surviving mechanism to keep myself from getting too upset about things. I'm always expecting something to go wrong somewhere, okay? That is just really truly who I am. I do try to shield some of that from you guys, because nobody wants to sit and watch somebody that is always a negative Nancy or always expecting something bad to happen. But that is really how I kind of operate and survive. Why I'm upset with myself today is, in this case, I knew, you guys, I knew that this country would not ever vote a woman into office, okay? Let alone a black or Asian or whatever you want to call her. I knew that it was something that would not happen. I told you guys that on Twitter when Joe Biden did step down, and they decided to put Kamala in that place. And I told you guys about my frustrations with it, the fact that they waited to the last minute. We all knew how old Joe Biden was from the beginning. It was just sort of like, if you felt like he was not going to be the man for the job, why did you guys endorse him and put him in? I mean, why didn't the Democrats just go on and say he was going to be a one-term president? Because that is what he said at one time. And we went on ahead and put Kamala in, or whoever the other person was going to be. I told you guys that if they hadn't elected Hillary Clinton, who is a white woman and very much capable, just like Kamala Harris was, if they weren't willing to put Hillary Clinton in that position, I really did not see it that it would happen for Kamala Harris. And many of you guys told me that I was negative. Many of you guys told me that I was outdated, old. Someone told me that I needed to get on board, that I needed to be a responsible journalist and understand that this world is changing, that the country is ready for a woman, that women are making history left and right and leading and are the heads and the CEOs and you guys gave me all of the rigmarole. I got into it with a few people on Twitter. People just basically said that I was part of the old establishment and that I needed to get with the times, that times had changed. And, I thought about it and I said, well, Roxanne, I mean, even though you are so against change, you guys know I am a person of routine. I'm a person that does the same thing, eats the same places, watches the same thing. Like, I am a person very much of routine. So I had a conversation with myself and I said, well, Roxanne, change doesn't happen unless, you're willing to make the change. Maybe it is time to approach this differently. Maybe it is time to get fully behind Kamala, and maybe you will be proven wrong come election day and this woman will go in. I mean, she is the woman for the job. We started seeing so many people get in line behind her. The women did their Zoom call, and then the men did their Zoom call, and then the Latino women did their Zoom call, and then the gays did their Zoom call, and the Latino men did their Zoom call, and she's raising money left and right. I think she got up to $1 billion raising, which is crazy that it takes that much money to win an election. But you're running against a man who who is a millionaire in and of himself, even though, some people will say, no, he's flat broke and he's just a millionaire on paper, but not in reality. But anyway, you're running against this man who has, rubs shoulders, elbows with millionaire, billionaires. You definitely need to have the capital to be able to compete. So she did that. She ran a damn near perfect campaign. And so many people were endorsing her. We had Republicans on the other side saying that Weissap was not the man for the job, and not just average Republicans. Okay, you know what I mean when I say average, but we had people like Mike Pence and his old former cabinet members that were saying this is definitely not the job for this man any longer. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? It looks like it is a new day. Maybe it is time. Maybe America is ready to have a woman, and dare I dream for a black woman to be sitting at the head of the table in the Oval Office? Okay. So I put my worries away. I put my fears away. I put my negative thoughts away. And I got 100% behind Kamala. Even gave money towards her. You know, we talked about it plenty of times in the videos. And then we got on election day. And the exact fucking opposite of what I wanted to happen happened. Okay? And it just made me say, Roxanne, girl, you knew. You knew this country. You knew that people might say that they'll do something, but when it comes down to that day, you knew, because you've been through this before in 2016. You know exactly how it feels and how things happen. You knew better. I'm so mad at myself that I actually believed that this woman was going to win because I knew fucking better. And I tell you, I hate the feeling of disappointment and disgust. And that's exactly how I felt when I found out that this woman did not win. That night, actually, remember I told you guys in my video that day that I was not stressed about it. I wasn't thinking about it. I did already vote. And, you know, I had already talked to you guys plenty of times. And I was not worried anymore. And I wasn't. I didn't worry about it all day Tuesday. I didn't even really watch the election results that evening. I had it on, but I was doing other things. I was playing my video games. I was scrolling on my phone. I was talking on the phone. You know, I was doing me. But as the night was going on, it was not looking good. Mr. was starting to tell me, like, I don't think she's going to do it. Mr. had already been telling me that for like the last couple of weeks. You know, he was like, I started to feel like she was going to do it. And he said, and then all of a sudden, he started feeling like maybe it wasn't going to happen for her again. And sure enough, Mr. was watching and he kept telling me, like, I don't think she's going to do it. And it was stressing me out. So I turned off my TV and I got into bed and I had a big glass of wine and I went to fuck to sleep. I was just like, listen, Lord, I done already turned it over to you. I done had a nice day today. I don't feel like being stressed now. So you know what? Get drunk and go to sleep. So that's what I did. Woke up about 3:30 in the morning and went to the restroom and then turned on my TV. Lord, why did I do that? And when I turned my TV on, they were saying that YSAP had won the election. I just was like, what? Not only did the man win the election, he won big. It was almost damn near a landslide, you know, and I at least was expecting a close race, and that is exactly what we did not get. He won all the swing states, pretty much all of them, including Georgia, including Pennsylvania, including North Carolina. They said early in that afternoon, or early in that evening when I was watching the news, they were saying whoever won North Carolina was going to win the race. And so I was kind of waiting to see who was going to win North Carolina. And by the time Mr. kept stressing me out, I ended up, they still hadn't announced who had won North Carolina. So I was holding out hope that North Carolina, you know, we were going to find out that she had won there, and, you know, I was going to feel a little bit better about it. They had spoke with the governor earlier that day. And I mean, child, I just was like, what? I mean, I just could not believe it. Needless to say, I did not go to sleep, back to sleep after that. I was up that whole rest of the morning, just kind of scrolling on my phone and just every few minutes just going, I cannot believe this. Like, I cannot believe it. The feeling that I felt this year, as opposed to how I felt in 2016, is not quite the same. Okay. The feeling I felt this year is just like, well, I guess things just really have not changed. I was devastated in 2016. Like, I shed a tear in 2016. In 2024, no tears were shed. I just shook my head and just was like, unbelievable that the way that YSAP had presented himself during this whole campaign time, especially these latter months, for them to still elect this man in as the president, y'all stupid ass president of the United States. I was just like, yeah, this country, child, it'll let you down every single time. Every single time. Put too much stock in it. Put too much trust in it. It's going to let your ass down. What really broke my heart, though, yesterday, you guys, was when Kamala had finally gave her speech. That, you know, she was accepting that she did not win and that she had, you know, gave the old high sign to WhatsApp and was moving on. I was really heartbroken to see those young people, especially out in that audience, to just boohoo crying. And now, you guys, those of you guys who told me that I was not for change and that I was old and antiquated in my thinking and that I need to get on board and everything, now you guys know exactly why I said back in June that this country is not ready for a black woman president. It wasn't that I didn't want to see it happen. It was that I have been let down and I have been there. I knew the feeling. I knew how things happen. And I just was mad at myself that I, you know, believed something differently. I allowed myself to think something differently when I knew better. But them kids that was crying, I said, now they know. Now they know. See, because when 2016 happened, everybody that's 24, 25, 26, you know, y'all was only 13, 14, 15, 16. Y'all was young. You didn't care about the election. You know, you've gone off to college and now you're about to start getting into the working world. You're about to be a full-fledged adult. Now you are a little bit more concerned about your future and what might happen. Some of you guys are starting to build your families now. You kind of starting to be more concerned about those things. And so now the young people felt like all we have to do is vote this woman in, and you know what, everything is going to happen. And I was just like, yes, in a perfect world, that would be so beautiful. That would be so nice for it to happen. But it's just, that's not how, at least this country, that's not how it works. And yeah, I was so sad. I just was, sad is not even the best word. It's an inner, like, it almost feels like rage a little bit, but controlled. It feels like I want to scream or I want to curse somebody out, or I just want to do something, because I just can't believe that our country, not only is it the same, I feel like our country has stepped back a few steps, you know, especially with the things that allegedly this Project 2025 and what WhatsApp and his folks want to do. I mean, a lot of those views and a lot of those ways are some shit from Jim Crow era, it feels like, you know. And I've always told you guys in my videos, like, I am in my mid-50s. I ain't gonna be here that much longer, you know, Lord willing. I want to live to my 90s, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm already an established adult. I was more worried about my children's future, the things that they're going to have to face. And it's so many things that come with WhatsApp being, you know, y'all stupid ass president. It's so much that happens. Just the fact that, you know, the women's rights, gay rights, racism, sexism, misogyny. It's just so many things, you guys. And I feel like, I don't want to feel like, oh my God, the sky is going to cave in and everything is like, it's not that. Nothing is going to happen immediately, but it's going to be over the progression of the years. Things are going to get considerably harder for middle class black families, you know, just trying to make things happen. It's going to be difficult. The Supreme Court is going to be, They're going to lean so heavily conservative because now that YSAP is in place, Clarence Thomas and that other one, Brito, is that his name? Those two are going to retire, which means that YSAP will be able to put 2 more Supreme Court justices in there. And then that's all it is, you guys. Because when we're talking about the highest court in the land, the ones that make decisions, that laws that stick for generations, you're going to have a young Supreme Court. These people are going to live for a long time, and they're going to be the ones that making major decisions for our country for many, many, many years. And they're going, and their ideals are going to be many of the ones that YSAP has. And I am just, it's really honestly too bad. I've watched all of the conversation about who was responsible. Why is it that this happened? I don't think there's any one reason. We can't really blame any one group. There's a lot of reasons why it happened. You know, people did get out and vote. Well, what I'll say is the people that did get out and vote voted for Kamala. Like our black women, of course, 92 something, I think they said 92%. Even black men, 73%. I mean, that's not bad for black men. Latino women, they did come along and try to vote for, you know, they voted for Kamala, Latino educated women. Where it looks like the problem was the Latino man. And it's funny because in all the conversations that we've had about the politics and about the election as it was coming, they were an ignored group. We did talk about Latino women. We did talk about black men, making sure that they come and vote, you know, for their interests. But we never really discussed Latino men. And Latino men overwhelmingly voted for YSAP. So there was that. There was also just a group of people who did not get out and vote. Okay? There was a good group of people that did not get out and vote. They sat out this election. And that also affected us. Again, a lot of misinformation. Like Ashley said, there was a lot of misinformation that was out there that turned people off from Kamala. And you guys know, like I know, some people, you can explain the misinformation to them. You can correct the information for them, and they still believe what they believe. So we have that problem. And then, of course, goes without mention, this is a black woman, or this is a woman who there was so much conversation on whatever her fucking race was, that became a problem. Okay? The fact that nobody wanted to say that, oh, she's a black woman, or she's a woman of mixed race, or oh, she's an Indian woman, or she's this, you know, we started getting hung up on the wrong things to me. I have seen the conversation that Bernie Sanders has put out saying that the Democrats have dropped the ball and have disassociated themselves with like the poor or the working class. The Democratic Party has become more of a, let Bernie Sanders explain it, more of an elitist group, or more of a group that is not concerned for the well-being of the poor people. Which is funny because that was always what people used to say. The Democrats was for the poor and the Republicans were for the rich. But Bernie Sanders seems to believe that the working class or the poor people believe that the Democrats are not helping them. That there's a lot of talk but no action. And yeah, you can definitely argue that. There have been times when people have said that the Democrats just continue to say those things just to try to keep those broke, poor people in their back pocket, but really have no intention of helping them. And that is the reason why a lot of them has swung over to the Republican side, because of course you keep on hearing YSAP saying over and over, I'm going to make things better for you. I'm going to cut inflation. I'm going to, I'm going to help you out. Everything is going to be good. Just vote for me and everything. And that was not the approach that the Democratic Party had taken. And obviously that approach worked. I don't think that the Republicans are really concerned for the poor or working class either. But they was able to talk a good game and get them to swing over to them. Republicans are still going to be concerned about their pocket first. And I still see them being a group of old conservative, old money people who have just kind of fooled the working class and the poor to believe that they're going to help them when they really haven't or really aren't, So it's interesting that they've moved over to the Republican side and have abandoned the Democrats, and so Bernie Sanders feels like that's the Democrats' fault. I will say that there has to be a reason why the Democrats failed so miserably. Not only did YSAP win, but the House is fully Republican, or should I say majority ruled Republican. So is the Senate. The Democrats lost everything. They have control of nothing. You've got a fucking lunatic, a maniac running the country, and he's going to have nobody to check him. And he's going to be able to do a lot. He's going to be able to do a lot. He's going to undo a lot, I should say. And yeah, it's very upsetting. Yet and still, you guys, the world is not over. Things continue to go on. He's only going to be in office for 4 hours. However, 4 hours. I wish. 4 years. However, those 4 years are going to be so life-changing. So many things are going to change in these 4 years, and it will affect our lives for many, many years. It's going to affect our children's lives and maybe even their children's lives. So, yeah, it's frustrating and it's upsetting. And I didn't get on social media yesterday because I knew that I was going to be way too emotional. I was pissed yesterday. I'm still pissed, but I am getting around to it. I'm getting around to feeling like, Roxanne, you done been through some things. I ain't lived to be 54 years old, though, you guys, to not realize that, the country is not that evolved. Like, there's some things just don't change. And Malcolm X told y'all best, black women, we ain't respected, we not protected, we not, he already said that. So, just daring to dream that a black woman, I just was like, Roxanne, girl, you didn't set your own self up. If you would have just knew what you knew and stood on what you knew, maybe so many people wouldn't be so heartbroken today, including yourself. If I would have just stuck with what I fucking knew. I'm so disgusted. I can tell you this. I see a lot of people trying to blame, like I said, all these different groups. None of that serves anything, so I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to sit here and point fingers, but what I will say is I'm real cool on starting conversations and trying to piggyback on, when things happen to people and, they need, Roxanne, you got to talk about it. Roxanne, you got to, give your opinion on it. You need to, oh yeah, them days is over when it comes to politics and stuff. Like, I almost feel like I know this is not true. I just feel like that today, but I almost feel like I don't even want to talk about politics any fucking more. Because, I am so sick, you guys. I physically felt ill yesterday when I was laying in that bed. I was so restless. I had to get up. I went to breakfast by myself, sat there and had a good breakfast, coffee, and I just couldn't believe it, child. I just could not believe it. I just still cannot believe it. I was watching Joy Reid, and she was saying how it's our generation, me in the 50s. My generation is the ones that are responsible for fucking up this election, basically, because the young people really believed in Kamala and voted for her, and the old people voted the same way they normally do, whether or not they were, traditionally Republican or Democrat. They stuck to their thing. They said our demographic, I think she said from 35 to 55 or 35 to 60, somewhere in there, 35 to 55. She said that we are the ones who voted for YSAP. White women, I just said I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I guess we just going to wait and see what YSAP does. I mean, he's already said his first order of business is mass deportation on day one. So on inauguration, while everybody is out there celebrating in their ball gowns and walking through Washington, D.C. and going to, bar hopping and meeting up with their friends and having a good time. And all, while y'all doing all that out there in D.C., YSAP got his people out there rounding up the Mexicans and all of the Latinos, the undocumented workers, and is about to hustle them out the country. I'm wondering what's going to happen. I'm concerned for the Board of Education. We're going to see what happens there. We're going to see what happens with Social Security. We're going to see what happens with Medicare. Obamacare is about to be gone because they've been wanting to get rid of it. That price cap on that medication, yeah, that's fixing to go. There's a lot of things that are about to be undone. A lot of things that helped people and made their lives a little bit more comfortable. A lot of that is about to go. And we don't feel it right now, but we'll see about 2 years in. We'll come back and check in and see how people are feeling about it. I don't know what else to say, you guys. I'm disgusted. I'm upset. But again, mostly mad at myself because I just knew this country is still this country. The United States of America, we got a lot of celebrities and glitz and glamour and everybody backing Kamala, the whole Hollywood. I mean, it turned into a show almost. But you know what? This time, they had every single fucking white person, trailer park folks, not offend nobody. They had all of the ones that ain't been out to vote. You know how we as black people, when Obama was running, we was picking up our great grandmamas and our aunties and Big Mama and all her friends, and we was picking everybody up, the shade tree mechanic and the niggas that hang out the liquor store, and we was making sure they all voted. Okay, they followed that strategy and they got everybody out, the Republican side. They got everybody out the woodwork to go out and vote. They got them all out. If you looked at that map, pretty much all of America, with the exception of California, New York, it's always been the ones that have been liberal, that have been the Democrats win, but that damn map looked more red than I've ever seen it. Ever. I mean, the whole fucking country looked like it was red. And then that should also tell you where we are as a people. How they look at us. Yeah, that's it on that. I'm sorry, that I couldn't get up here and entertain y'all about it today. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. fucking mic not charged. I pulled that mic out at my desk at work, and I was just like, of course it wouldn't work. What fucking works today? Except for me in this damn office. Other than that, why would I expect this mic? Why would I expect anything to go the way that I want it to go? Oh, anyway, you guys, that's it, child. That's it. Y'all need a hug? I'm gonna give y'all a hug because fuck, I need one too. Come on in, bring it in, y'all. Bring it on in, bring it. It's gonna be all right, y'all. It's gonna be all right. Ooh, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna have to be all right. But I tell you, I ain't quite ever felt this disgusted in a long time. I mean, I did feel like this with Hillary, but it's just a different feeling. Child, I'm gonna let it go. You guys got the comments, and you guys can go into the comments and tell me exactly how you feel about everything. I don't even think I'm gonna look at these comments. I don't feel like it, y'all. But y'all leave y'all comments down there. Y'all don't get to fighting and shit, because all it does is completely divide us more. The country is divided enough. It's going to stay divided for the next few years. So, you know, let's make an effort to try to be together, at least in these goddamn comments today, okay? And I'm gonna get on. All right, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna get on off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars.